On March 16, 1984, inside a busy airport in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, a man stood quietly beside a public payphone. He looked calm and almost invisible among the travelers moving through the terminal. But he wasn't waiting for a flight. He was waiting for one specific man. And when that man finally walked past him, everything changed in a single second. The moment was captured on live television and would soon shock the entire country. But to understand why this father was standing in that airport with a gun, we need to go back a few weeks earlier, to an 11-year-old boy who trusted the wrong person. Gary Plauché was 11 years old and loved karate. It was his passion. He trained constantly and competed in local tournaments, spending hours practicing at the karate school where he had made many friends. At the dojo, Gary met a man named Jeff Doucette. Doucette was 25 years old and often volunteered to help train the younger students. To parents, he seemed friendly, responsible, and trustworthy. He was someone who appeared to genuinely care about the kids. For Gary, Doucette quickly became someone he admired. But that trust would soon be broken in the worst possible way. Over time, Doucette began spending more time with Gary. He offered to give him rides home, took him to events, and gradually built a close relationship with him. At first, nothing seemed unusual. But investigators would later reveal something disturbing. Doucette had been grooming Gary. He slowly gained the boy's trust and manipulated him until the relationship became abusive. Gary was only 11 years old. He was confused, frightened, and unsure how to explain what was happening. But the situation was about to become even worse. Because in February of 1984, Gary suddenly disappeared. When Gary didn't come home, his parents immediately became worried. Soon, investigators discovered something shocking. Jeff Doucette had taken him. And by the time authorities realized what had happened, Doucette had already left the state. He had driven Gary all the way to California. For 10 terrifying days, Gary was held there, separated from his family and completely under Doucette's control. Back in Louisiana, Gary Plauché and his wife were living every parent's worst nightmare. Their son was gone, and they didn't know if they would ever see him again. Finally, police located Doucette in California. Officers moved quickly, rescued Gary, and arrested Doucette. Gary was safe. But when Gary learned what had happened during those 10 days, his world was shattered. Jeff Doucette was now facing serious criminal charges and would soon be returned to Louisiana to stand trial. For many families, this moment would bring relief. But Gary Plauché felt something else. Anger. Pain. And a deep feeling that no punishment could ever undo what had been done to his son. In the middle of that emotional storm, Gary made a decision. A decision that would soon shock the entire country. On March 16, 1984, Doucette was escorted through Baton Rouge Airport by 2 detectives. News cameras were nearby, hoping to capture footage of the suspect being brought back to Louisiana. What they didn't realize was that someone else was waiting inside the terminal. Gary Plauché. He stood quietly beside a public payphone, his head lowered and a baseball cap pulled down over his face. Then, suddenly, the detectives walked Doucette directly past him. In one swift motion, Gary turned, pulled a gun from his pocket, and fired a single shot. The bullet struck Doucette in the head. The entire moment was captured on live television. People in the airport screamed as detectives immediately tackled Gary and took the weapon. Jeff Doucette died shortly afterward. Within hours, the footage spread across the country. Millions of people watched the shocking moment again and again, and a national debate quickly began. Some believed Gary Plauché had committed murder. Others believed he had done what many parents might have done in the same situation. Gary never denied what he had done. In court, he openly admitted everything and said he had acted out of overwhelming anger and emotional pain. When the judge finally delivered the sentence, many people were surprised. Gary Plauché received 5 years of probation and community service. He served no prison time. Even decades later, the case still divides people. Some believe Gary Plauché crossed a line that should never be crossed. Others believe he delivered justice when the system failed. But the real question remains. What would you have done in his place? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoy real stories where the truth is darker than fiction, make sure to subscribe to The Missing Thread. Because sometimes the most disturbing stories are the ones that actually happened.